amigos, Rory Foster from Common Ground in Costa Rica, and we have just finished up week 4. Between weeks 3 and week 4, we took a trip to La Fortuna, and La Fortuna has the famous Volcán Arenal, which isn't active anymore, but it was about 10 years ago. And but it's still this major hub for adventure, and so we had a chance to go zip lining, do hanging bridges tours, walk through the forest with a guide, a biologist, and see all sorts of animals and fun wildlife just in its natural setting. And then there's a waterfall, Catarata La Fortuna, which we had a chance to hike down to, swim in the river down below. And one of the highlights of this weekend for me is Baldi Hot Springs. And so had a chance just to kind of chill and relax. And it turned out that Monday was a holiday. And so we didn't have classes anyway. So we were able to extend our time a little bit and just take a breather. Relax, because by the end of week 3, start of week 4 is when really some of the culture shock, if it's going to hit you, you've been feeling it, and it's going to come up around this time. After 2-3 weeks, definitely by going into week 4, you really start to feel those frustrations of living in another culture, another country, and with a different set of norms and values and all sorts of things. And what we always talk about is the trick is to not allow these natural frustrations to really undermine your goals of traveling, which is to really improve your Spanish. And so week 4, our educators were back at the Camuc School, our partner school here in Costa Rica, and had a great week in the classroom with those teachers for a half of a day, working in the classroom with them. And then our medical group kind of had some time off this week, some slower mornings, and which is great. It's nice to get some time to study and reflect. And our pharmacy students were then integrated into some local community pharmacies as a part of their pharmacy rotation, and so they began that work, and that's always pretty hard, but there's a lot to learn as far as the system for how medications are dispensed and what's controlled, what's not controlled. It's a big learning curve, and what brands and what medications are on the formulary, what are not, etc. And so week 4, we don't have a weekend trip coming up. In fact, most of our folks have returned home by now. Most people end up in the 2 to 3 week range for their travels, but if you're considering traveling on Immersion with us, you're welcome to travel anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks. Our pharmacy students will be here for another few weeks, and we've got a couple of adults hanging on doing slightly more individualized programming in weeks 5 and weeks 6 of the trip. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed seeing a little bit what our Spanish immersion programs have looked like this summer in both Ecuador and Costa Rica. And if you want to be a part of it, we would invite you to check it out. We would love the opportunity to work with you directly in Costa Rica or in Ecuador. Okay, amigos, hasta luego.